Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mr. Ian Teaches English. Today we are going to talk about a topic that is very difficult for learners, the pronunciation of ED at the end of words. You usually see these at the end of regular past tense verbs and also adjectives, but they also appear in other places. I'm going to show you where you're going to find these words. I'm going to teach you the rules behind how to pronounce them and give you some practice words and practice sentences that I'll repeat, and you can hear how a native speaker handles them. All right, here we go. How do you pronounce ED in English? Now, where do you find ED? Most of the time, you'll find these in regular past tense verbs. For example, wanted, talked, continued. Also past participles if you're using the perfect tenses, and adjectives as well. Now, quick note, ED adjectives are different from ING adjectives, but we'll talk about that a different day. Now, ED has the same spelling, but magically has 3 different pronunciations. The first pronunciation is t, like taco. The second pronunciation is d, like dog. And the third pronunciation is ud, which has that ED sound, I call it. Now, I call them taco, dog, and ED sounds or ud sounds because I like tacos and I like dogs, and it can be difficult to hear the sound when you're pronouncing it alone. So I'm going to call them taco sounds, dog sounds, and ED sounds. Now, what's the difference? You choose the pronunciation based on the final sound of the base form of the word. All right, if the final sound in the base form, not the past tense, if the final sound in the base form is voiceless, then you choose the taco sound. If the final sound is voiced, you choose the dog sound. If the final sound is already the taco sound or the dog sound, you'll choose ED and that ud pronunciation after it. Now let's talk specific. All right, let's start with voiceless sounds. Voiceless sounds are simply sounds that don't make your throat vibrate. Find the base form, look at the final sound, and see if it makes your throat vibrate. Use your hand. Talk. The final sound is K. K makes a K sound. So, K, 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 K. No vibration. You hear the air in your lungs, but you don't hear a vibration. You don't feel a vibration. Kiss ends in S. S, S, S. No vibration. Because of that, they receive the taco pronunciation. Stop is the same way. P, 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 p. No vibration. So these words receive a taco sound. Talk becomes talked. Kiss becomes kissed. Stop becomes stopped. Voiced sounds are the opposite. Voiced sounds make your throat vibrate. So continue. In the base form, the final sound is continue. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. It vibrates. Smile. The final sound is l. Smile. L, l, l. Feel your throat vibrate. Bore is the same way. The R makes a vibration. Bore. Now make sure you are only using the final sound to choose if this is taco or dog or ED. All of these make your throat vibrate, so the ED is pronounced D, the dog sound. Continue becomes continued. Smile becomes smiled. Bore becomes bored. All right, and you'll hear that a lot in the adjective form. The taco and dog sounds are the easiest. If the word already ends in T or D, then we use the ud sound. For example, decide ends in D, the dog sound already. So we say decided. Want ends in the taco sound already, the T. So we pronounce it wanted. Interest ends in a taco sound already, so we pronounce the ED how it looks. Interested. Now, a note about pronunciation. I'm American, and Americans will make this T sound very soft in the middle of a word. So decided is normal, but want, wanted, wanted. It looks like wanted, which is more a British pronunciation, but wanted and interested. That T sort of becomes very soft in the middle. All right, now let's practice. Go ahead and pause the video. Take as much time as you like. Give me, is it a taco sound, is it a dog sound, or is it an ED sound? Don't forget, you have to use the last sound in the base form. So I've given you the base forms here. Have fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go over these answers. Talk, the final sound is K, K, so that is pronounced talked. Continue, last sound oo, vibrates your throat. This is pronounced continued. Want already ends in a taco sound, so we're going to give that the ud, wanted or wanted. Need ends in that dog sound already, so we're going to give it needed. Kiss, final sound is s, so kissed, kissed. Try, tried, tried. Mix, mixed, mixed. Connect, connected, connected. Interest, interested, interested. Depress, depressed. Tire, tired. Confuse, confused. Now be careful with that one. The S in there makes a Z sound. So be careful. It's not the spelling, it is the pronunciation. And this is true all over English. We'll talk about that more in other lessons. Excite, excited. Scare, scared. Happen, happened with the dog sound. And time, timed with the dog sound. All right, let me know if you had any trouble with those, but we want to take it to the next level. Now let's look at some sentences. All right, let's look at some sentences now, because this is where you're really going to use the pronunciation in real life. Go ahead, take your time, pause the video, identify the ED words, and then tell me, is it taco, dog, or ED? Have fun. All right, here we go. Number one, my mom called yesterday and asked for some advice. Called is a dog sound, and asked is a taco sound. Number two, Tom decided to take a new job he was more interested in. Decided and interested both have the ED sound because the dog sound and the taco sound are already present at the end of the word. Number three, I looked at her and immediately wanted to marry her. Looked is a taco sound, and wanted is that ED sound. Number four, John's bored with class because he noticed his friends outside. Bored is the dog sound, and noticed is the taco sound. And the last one, number five, you finish this, and now you're more detailed with your pronunciation. Finished, taco sound, and then detailed, which is an adjective here, not a past tense verb. Detailed is that dog sound. So go ahead if you need to repeat those. If you need to hear my pronunciation again, go over it and over it. Practice is king. You cannot get better unless you practice. And usually practicing once isn't enough. Now, the last idea here, why is this important? Without good ED pronunciation, English speakers won't understand if you're using the past tense. This happens to me all the time in class. Students are saying things and they're trying to say things in the past tense, but they don't because they're not following those ED rules. All right. Now, also, I mentioned this earlier, but there is a difference between adjectives that end in ed and end in ing. We'll cover that in another video, but just know that it is really important that you're pronouncing this ed correctly. Plus, it's going to make you sound fantastic. It's going to make you sound really natural. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this helpful, and I hope that now you can hear this when people are speaking, and also it will help you in your reading of English too. Don't forget, there's not much point in learning these things if you're not going to practice them. So find somebody to talk to, find a good book to read, and we'll see you next time.